back-to-back. They have won the Stanley Cup.
I think it's tough enough to win one. We've done two, so you might as well go for three, right?
Our time, baby, back to back. That's how we do it.
What do you think of this team?
Unbelievable. Nobody can beat us. Back to back years.
It's so much fun to be a part of. The crowd can have an effect on teams. The emotions get turned up.
And then last year they gave Vezina to somebody else. Number one bullshit. Oh, number one bullshit.
Here it is for you guys. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Thunder. It's Shooter here with the Stash and Thomas Schooley, and the Lightning have lost to the Leafs 4-3 in a crucial Game 5. And face elimination for the first time, I guess the third time in 2 years, but the first time it hasn't been a Game 7. We're going to break down the game. I think we got a guest jumping on. I don't see him just yet. I'm angry. Kim's angry. Carlene's angry. We got a lot of angry people in the house. Why don't you guys give us your first thoughts, and then let's break this thing down, and we'll go from there.
You go first, Chloe, please.
Yeah, I'm on a little bit of a delay here because the internet keeps going in and out here. I'm at the official watch party here at Armature Works. But horrible game. It started out great, but we come back home Thursday, and here's a little message to the players. If you're not ready to play, if you're not ready to hit, keep your asses at home, because today was a pitiful game. It sucked. You stunk up the bed. They only played one period. That was it.
Yeah, but the refs played fucking all 60.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get tired of saying this. I'm not saying that the refs stole the game. What I'm saying is that 5-on-5 hockey, the Bolts were dominating, really. And as soon as they start calling these penalties and they start getting in the flow, and it's just once again another parade to the box, both teams back and forth, and end up in the end, it just takes away all the flow of good 5-on-5 hockey. And I think that's what we want to see in the playoffs is 5-on-5 hockey. You know, if they want to win the special teams battle, then, I mean, there's not much you want to be able to do. You know what I mean? And it just takes away. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways from this series right now is that the reason that there's not really any momentum from one team to the other, and we're having back-to-back wins, or we're not having back-to-back wins or back-to-back losses, is because neither team can really find a lot of momentum in game or from game to game because of all the penalties. And then, there seems to be a lack of consistency for 60 minutes. I mean, they came out and played their hockey for the first 20. They came right out and played their hockey. It was obvious. They were doing everything they had to do, doing all the right things. But we saw, another too many men penalty again, right? I mean, we did
two of them.
Two.
Again,
Unacceptable.
Twice. And the second one led to the goal. I mean, we just can't be having those type of mental errors against a team that's this hungry. That's the problem. I don't think there's a hungrier team in the playoffs right now than the Toronto Maple Leafs.
No, and their veterans are outplaying our veterans.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but it's just, I don't know.
All right, let's
I don't really have a lot of answers behind the scenes.
Let's bring on our guest. Unfortunately, feels like a funeral so far, but we're gonna bring on Jeff Antonella. He, if you don't know Jeff, he's like the smack czar now. He's the most important athlete to retire recently in the Tampa Bay area, and he was the goalie.
Stay retired.
And he stayed retired. He didn't go back. All right, Brady. Wait, I'm not mad at you, Brady. But if you don't know him, he was the goalie for Portland, MLS, the Timbers. And he's from Tampa, so he's a big Bolts fan. And he's been helping support the show with the Smack shirts. In fact, if you type in hashtag Smack, we're going to give away and another round shirt tonight. So add that to your comments. We do see your comments rolling. Jeff, I'm going to break down the game here in a second, but I want you to give us kind of your first thoughts on what we saw tonight.
I mean, just the penalties, man. The penalties seem to be killing us. I tweeted this out, I think, 2 or 3 games ago that I think Toronto might be the best 4-man hockey team. It seems like every time that they have 4 players on the ice, they seem to score. And, I mean, it killed us again tonight. They ended up getting their last 2 goals when it was 4-on-4, right? So, I mean, it's just something that it seems to be that's kind of, at least in my opinion, that seems to be the thing that's really killing us. And it sucks because I was at the watch party. Right? At the end of the first period, had to bring the kids home, go to bed. By the time I got home, it was 2-1. And I'm like, I kind of thought we might have, buried them by now, the way that first period ended. And then, I get home for the third period, and then, things obviously happen the way that they did. But for me, it just seems like anytime that Toronto has 4 players on the ice, they are pretty much unstoppable. So if we can stay out of the penalty box, but at the same time, man, I don't know. That was disappointing for sure. But I've watched the Lightning long enough to not lose complete faith yet. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, maybe they play Game 6 with 4 men the entire time.
Right? I mean, they seem unstoppable with 4 men on the ice. It seems like every time they have 4 players on the ice, they seem to score or something crazy happens. So
no, you're right. It was the 4-on-4 at the end that really kind of killed us. But let's take it from the top. Let's think back to 7:30 to 8 o'clock tonight when the Bolts had 14 shots and held the Leafs to 4 shots. That happened this game. This game.
End game.
Right?
Game 60 minutes.
And guess what? We still started the game on the PK. Too many men on the ice. 1 of 2. And I'm blaming the loss tonight on John Cooper because I've never seen a coach outcoach himself like he did tonight. With him scrambling the lines, you saw on this first one, Killer didn't know he was supposed to be out there. These guys didn't know what their assignments are. So I don't know, maybe Jeff, maybe that's on the players, maybe it's on the coach. I'm blaming Coop. You can't get those 2 penalties in a game like this. And they were both at the beginning of periods when you think they would know what's going on. Who do you blame that on, Jeff? I know you didn't play hockey. Maybe you have in the past. But who would you blame that on? These calls.
To be honest, I probably don't know enough about the X's and O's of the game to know who to blame that on. But I just think that there's been mistakes that are uncharacteristic of a team that is back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, right? Like, these are things that during the playoffs you don't expect to see a team that has won the championship twice to do these things like this. So it's just super uncharacteristic. I don't know if that's John Cooper. I don't blame John Cooper for just about anything, so I'm not going to go that far. But clearly, some type of miscommunications are happening, or some wires are getting crossed or something. We didn't do those types of subs in soccer, so I'm not sure how the line changes work. But at the same time, it's just a lot of uncharacteristic things that you're seeing from the Lightning that over the last 2 years they weren't doing. And you need to, in order to win a Stanley Cup, it's probably the hardest trophy in sports to win. In order to win that, you can't be making mistakes like that. And Toronto's a super hungry team, so at the same time, it's anytime you give them an opportunity to get back in a game. I thought when they were on that 5-on-3 in the first period, I was like, this is it. We're gonna bury them. We're gonna bury them. We got all the momentum in the world.
Yep.
We got a 5-on-3. we're gonna get one, we're gonna get two, and we're gonna bury them. That's what I thought. And when that didn't happen, I was kind of like, let him hang around a little bit, and then then crazy things start happening, like too many men on the ice for the back-to-back Stanley Cup champs.
Yeah, and in a lot of games, there are turning points where you can look back and say, this is a turning point in the game. And I would say that missing those 5-on-3s, I love Cooch, but he missed the fucking net twice. An open net twice on the 5-on-3.
Badly.
Was that the turning point in the game? I don't know. I don't know, but it seemed like
no.
after that, it was all Toronto.
No, I figured out what it is.
Canada.
In Jeff's introduction, he said that he left the watch party. Left the watch party when they were ahead, and everybody knows in hockey, you don't move. If you're winning, you let those kids go sleep out in the car. So I blame this loss on
that AstroTurf.
But man, I take the morning shift. But here's the deal: I take the morning shift with the kids, and if they don't go to bed, then my mornings are horrible.
That's what you had to sacrifice, right? For let them win.
That's right.
I made a selfish decision.
Next guest.
Right.
The Lightning are back to the Stanley Cup champs when I live in Portland, so maybe I just got to move back to see.
Get out of here.
Enjoy the Kraken.
Never.
Listen, we killed the penalty, and the penalty killers played really good in the first period. And then right away, similar to game 4, actually almost identical, that goal.
Centers it, score!
Stamkos, no hesitation, puts it right in. 1-0. And then Paul draws a hook. Our first power play, our only power play where we scored, and one of our only power plays of the game. And if you look at the stats, I think it says that we had 5 power plays. 2 of them really weren't power plays. We really had 3 power plays.
I don't think we had one after the first.
We did not.
Impossible. That seems impossible in hockey.
It was for only a few seconds because they would call one right back on us.
Yeah, twice. So we really didn't have any power plays after that. And again, that 5-on-3 was just so crucial. So Hedman scores, gets one through the crowd, killer in front with the screen. And then you saw Toronto start making the march to the box. They had, the hook on Nylander had the hook, bad penalty on him. Perry got cross-checked. That's when we got the 5-on-3. Great chances. Again, Cooch, open net, doesn't even hit the goalie or the net at all.
Yeah.
Then we go to the box. Point with a really bad interference, dumb penalty, and then Bogo kind of got tied up. I don't know how you avoid that one, but out of our 3 penalties in the first, 2 of them should have never happened. But luckily, we held them to 4 shots and pretty much dominated that first. And I think that's why everyone is so pissed. We see your comments. You guys can start posting those up there if you want to. Anyway, the period ends with 7 penalties. And then we just stopped calling penalties after that, I guess. So second period, we did get the too many men right at the beginning. Again, unacceptable. Stanley Cup champs, Coop, let them play. Let them play. You're doing these stupid matchups or whatever you're trying to do to get the right guys on the ice at the right time. How did we lose the game? What was the game-winning goal? We gave up a 2-on-1 to their best players.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Coop's trying to do, but it wasn't working, and it was getting us penalties. Anyway, that's when Matthews scored his first goal with the power play to cut that lead in half. And then Stamkos gets that tripping call. Fassi comes up huge that second period, just making nonstop saves. And then towards the end of that second period was a play that I think everyone will remember, where Austin Matthews launched himself off the ice and into Sergachev's number, putting his head into the boards, and it's like the refs didn't even see it happen. Even though Sergachev was laying on the ice, and Toronto's cheering MVP. What is that? How does that happen?
I expect a call from the NHL offices.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get suspended for game 6.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Like a
No,
lot
Well,
of good that
game
$5,000 is
Game
gonna
7
do.
would be great for the league.
Yeah.
Games would be pretty good for the league.
There's no chance he gets suspended at
$5,000.
all.
$5,000, whatever. Move on. That's what's gonna happen. Didn't make the call in the game, and it was a big deal because it helped get the fans back into it. Even if we didn't see he was down and they stopped it, it got the fans back into it. And that was, I think, one of the biggest things is that first goal and some of those power plays got the fans and their energy back into it. That gave them the momentum, and the Bolts weren't really ever able to do enough to get that momentum back. Like they kind of hung around and but they never were able to assert themselves and get that momentum. Toronto had it for the rest of the game, halfway through that second period at least.
Yeah. And then third period rolls around. We get a little bit of hope that we're going to get a power play because we got one for 6 seconds and Stamkos high sticks a guy. And there goes our only chance for the rest of the game to get a power play. And by the way, we didn't get a power play in the second period. So there were no special teams advantages for the Bolts tonight. 4-on-4, as Jeff mentioned. This was 4-on-4 time, which means Toronto time. You got to give them credit. They are good with 4 guys on the ice. But also, what a breakdown. What a breakdown defensively. Riley's goal to tie it up, he's wide freaking open. Once again, Coop, you're so worried about getting the right guys on ice that we've got 2 penalties so far, and we still got guys wide open to tie the game. And then I guess it was about a minute later. By the way, I tweeted when they tied it, just take a timeout. Should probably use one of those timeouts that we don't ever like to take until the end of the game when we need to like rest our lines or whatever.
Yeah.
No. William Nylander, whatever the hell his name is.
3 points.
He's like such a good player, but I would never want him on my team because he's such a slacker. Like you saw him last in the game with the whole Sergachev there. No, it was Cernak in the corner. Yeah. Anyway, he beat Vasi 3-2 at this point. I thought we were in big trouble. And we were.
That was a hell of a shot though.
Like, yeah, it was a perfect shot. Perfect shot. Can't blame him for that. And then we did make that slight comeback. Old McDonough, thank goodness for him. He ripped that one timer. But then it was a 2-on-1. Matthews, Marner. How do you let that happen for them to take the lead and win the game? Stamkos got high sticked or something towards the end. I didn't even see it. I heard him talking about it. I saw it on Twitter. No call. I mean, I knew we weren't going to see any other calls this period. And at the end of the day, the Lightning lose, and this was a crucial Game 5. The teams that win Game 5 usually, I think it's like 75% of the time, win the series. So it's not over, but we've never been here on this show before. We've had some Game 7s, but we've never been facing elimination before Game 7. So tough game. Again, I'm not saying fire Coop, but man, I'm mad at him after this one.
I thought coming out of that second period, going into the third period with only losing 1, I thought they were actually going to have some momentum because Toronto had their foot on our necks. And for them to only give up 1 that whole period, I was like, okay, that's going to give them some confidence and that's going to give them some momentum going into the third. And they're going to come out and just goal. And
I bet they would have.
Shit the bed.
I bet they would have scored if they actually got that power play. But no, they had 6 seconds on the power play or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So they had no chance to get really any momentum. And then, Toronto starts scoring goals in the 4-on-4.
I think what worries me the most is that in the past playoff runs, the Lightning have been so good at keeping leads. Like they've just tightened the screws up, and then once they get a lead, you were never getting it back, right? Like a 2-0 lead in the playoff series before, like the last couple of years. And then you don't want to talk too much about the past, but like that's the Stanley Cup champs. They're going for the dynasty run. That when it was a 2-0 lead, it was like game over, lockdown. They're not getting behind you. They're not they're not going to get chances. Bass is going to lock it down, and defensively, they're going to keep everything in front of them. And this year, it just seems like, even when they're up 5-0 or 5-1 or whatever, the games where they're blowing them out, they're letting teams back into the game, or it's still kind of making things a little bit dicey. And that, for me, that's like the thing that worries me the most about tonight. It was like normally in the past when you're winning Stanley Cups, you're up 2-0, they were locking it down. Like, they didn't even need to score again. They were just keeping everything in front of them, and nobody was getting behind them because they were in playoff mode. But this year, it's a little bit – this year it just seems a little bit different in that regard. So, for me, that's what worries me the most about tonight. Like, this would have been a huge night to just shut it down and tighten the screws up defensively, and then that was it. Ride it out. But
there was no hits tonight. There was none of those hits. There was no skirmishes. There was no nothing. And they talked about how Maroon had, before the game, had started some stuff and was chirping at people before the game.
And they didn't engage them.
Right. And they wouldn't engage him. And then there was none of that the rest of the game. There was no big hits except for on the other side. There was nothing from the Lightning. None of the big boys came out to hit. None of them came out to play. The guys are at the podium now, and Victor Hedman says, we believe in ourselves. That's the bottom line. Steven Stamkos says it's a 60-minute game, right? In order to win at this time of year, you have to play a full game. Unfortunately, we didn't. We played a hell of a first 15 minutes for the first period and just couldn't replicate it for the rest of the game.
Let me stop you right there. How many times have we heard that all season?
Yep.
Too much. Yeah, I'm over it. How
many times have we heard that all season? That's why,
we're not worried. We're not worried.
The confidence level here is dwindling fast. I still believe they can beat Toronto 2 more times. Believe me.
Though, here's the thing, right? We talked about it the very first thing after last game. What's the commentary? The Bolts have to win 2 in a row. It's not about losing 2 in a row right now. They don't have to lose 2 in a row to lose this series. Yep. They have to win 2 in a row. And someone said right now, this isn't a team that's playing like a team that can win 2 games in a row against Toronto right now. That's what I'm concerned about, because it doesn't seem like they can put back-to-back efforts of good enough hockey against a team that right now has got to be the hungriest team in the playoffs, if you ask me, because they're desperate to get out of the first round. They're more desperate to get out of the first round than anything else. They don't even care if they win the Stanley Cup. They just want to get out of the first round. And we're seeing the Lightning not have the desperation and the mental sharpness and the mental acuity that they need to have to win in the playoffs. 60 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, to address the comment here from Richard, Perry served the penalties, but that doesn't mean that he was guilty of being the extra man on ice. I know the first one was killer because they kept showing him and he looked confused, like he didn't know where he was supposed to be. And we did see Cooper change around those lines so much, trying to get those matchups. Remember, we didn't have we did have the advantage being the away team to get the right matchups out there. So I don't know, a lot of miscommunication. By the way, I see Chris in the chat here. We are going to give away a pizza puck. If you've never been to Pucks and Pizza, that's Chris's joint right there. So thanks a lot, man. We're going to give that out to someone with a really good comment. And by the way, if you had hashtag SMACK, going to win a SMACK Apparel Bolts shirt tonight. And we even got the Malektronics speaker. So get on it because we're running out of playoff games. So get on it tonight. Give us a good comment. Hey, it always works if you make us laugh a little bit. So
how do we get some good vibes going on this show, boys?
It's usually not like this, man. We usually win every time.
It's not even that we usually win. We do usually bring positivity here. We usually honestly, that's usually our thing. We usually are the one like, oh, a bad victory. We're usually the ones you come to for solace, to that salve for the wound and everything. But I'm telling you right now, man, it's already been a rough year, right? Since basically January, it's been a roller coaster ride for all of us, and we're doing our best to believe in this team. But I mean, I don't know if it's just them that is tired. I think a lot of us are tired of this back and forth, and we believe in the guys, but they can only say the same thing so many times in a row and not win back-to-back games and not have back-to-back performances before you're looking for something different. You know what I'm
All
saying?
it takes is 2, though, right? So, like, you come home.
Yeah.
I'm assuming we're going to come home, smash them. That's my assumption. We're going to come home, smash them.
Probably the way the series is going.
And then Toronto in a game 7, like, knock on wood, hopefully we get to game 7. In a game 7, Toronto at home will have all the pressure in the world on them, right? So, like,
and be in their own head because of last
knowing
year.
that,
Yeah.
right? Like, I think we come home, smash them on Thursday, and then going into game 7, all the talk will be about Toronto needing to win at home. Like, this is the best opportunity Toronto's ever had to, move on out of the first round, blah, 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 blah. And then, I kind of like the Lightning's chances in a game like that because, when the pressure's on, you never know what can happen. So I'm not quite ready to get all doom and gloom yet. I mean, tonight would have been good. It would have been a free, then you got to win one of the next 2 to advance, which would have been huge. And obviously they got the hot start, but I think that once you didn't get those goals in the first period and you let Toronto hang around a little bit, then, anything can happen in hockey. But man, I can't give up faith on the Bolts, boys. Come on, get a little confidence going. It's a playoffs, man.
Wait, Jeff.
This is the first good game we've had.
Jeff, do you see where I'm at?
Yeah, you're still at the party.
Yeah, yeah. So, right. I didn't give up on them. I stayed here. You went home.
Oh, dude, me going to the party at all was on a whim. I left straight from work. I told the wife, I was like, we're gonna pick up the kids and go down there for a little bit. It wasn't even like a plan.
All right.
Oh,
Listen, there's no give up on the Bolts on this show.
I also lost. So we won the Stanley Cup when I went last year. I was at the game that we won, but then I was at game 3 and we lost. And then I went to the watch party tonight and we lost. So maybe
stay home Thursday.
Stay at home.
Stay home Thursday. Yeah.
Yep. I won't even watch. Listen, if me watching's bad luck, I won't even watch. That's how I'll be committed in that form. But we got to keep some good energy going. It's the playoffs, boys. Come on. Keep the faith. We need some faith.
No, I think you're absolutely right. So I could see them coming back really strong at home on Thursday. And then it could come back to that game 7. And you're right. Like, the pressure's not really on us. Toronto completely crapped the bed last season, right? Against Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they're thinking. That's in the back of their mind. But,
I mean, historically, Toronto is one of the most worst sports franchises at closeout games, right? Like, that has to be a historical fact. So they're really good at getting teams to close out games, and they kind of, drop the ball a little bit. So I have faith that the Lightning, I truly have faith. There's no chance, knock on wood. I don't see a chance in hell that the Lightning lose at home on Thursday. And then if you get Toronto in a game 7, then, it's game 7, man. Anything can happen. I take Bassey over anybody. And you just got to keep the faith, boys. Come on. This is too doom and gloom.
Mike Snead has the faith. Mike Snead has the faith. I don't think it's doom and gloom, man. Honestly, I don't think it's not doom and gloom.
I've had a couple too many beers preparing for this for you guys to be sad.
I love it. No, dude, I love it. Yeah, I had band practice today. I got a gig on Saturday, so I probably started drinking at noon. So that's also part of it. Like I peaked a little bit too early today. I'm not gonna lie. And we had a long weekend too, man. Jeff, you weren't there. We had a long weekend, man. We started on Friday and we went all the way through the weekend full. I was there for Friday's game. I was there for the beer crawl. We had Dinger on. Then we went and drank all over downtown. And then I was there for the game on Sunday. So, it's not just like doom and gloom.
Think about playing. Think about these guys playing.
I know. We go after every game around here, man. It's easy keeping up your energy whenever you get to, jump in here and there. When you're going every game, sometimes it takes a toll on you.
Right. Yeah. Come back every other game, Jeff, because that's when we've been cheering. Every other game.
No,
I'm watching this game go down, and I'm watching with my wife and one of her friends, and we're like, all right, they're winning. This is gonna be good vibes. This is gonna be a good show. This is gonna be good energy. And then they go down 3-2, and I'm like, not great. And they tie it 3-3. I'm like, we're back. Maybe it'll go to overtime. Things will be buzzing. And then they lost. They're like, what are you going to talk about? I'm like, well, it's probably going to be pretty sad.
Yeah, I'm not as mad about I'm not as mad about the loss as much as like just the way that they lost the game tonight. And then I wasn't really happy to hear Stammer saying the same bullshit he said all season. Like,
but there's nothing else to say. Like, what is he going to say? In his position, what is he going to say?
Well,
like,
to be fair,
you have to say that at this point in the season, you have to say the things that, you got to say the textbook media answers. Because like, what else are you gonna say in that situation?
Yeah, you're
They're
right.
asking the same questions. Did you guys watch the presser after Game 4? Literally, they asked the exact same questions down the line for all three. Coop was over it. Coop, like they asked Coop one question, he's like, "Well, brief response," and then they asked another question. He's like, "Listen, I think you're asking me questions you already know the answers to. What are you asking me?" Like it was probably his most short press conference I've seen after a game, and I think the guys are just kind of tired of trying to come up with the answers, so they don't have anything else to say. Like they can only say the same thing because I don't know that they have the answers to try to win back-to-back games. I'm not saying that they can't do it. I'm just saying, what do you tell the media? Is what I'm saying. Like how they keep asking the same thing. It comes down to execution. They're not wrong. It comes down to execution. They have the talent. They have the ability. They have the coaching. They have everything they need to win this series. It comes down to execution. It comes down to actually getting on the ice and winning the battles in the corner. It comes down to playing all the way through all three zones and really forcing the issue. Like Engblom was even talking about it. In Game 4, they did a good job of forcing the issue in their own zone. They didn't do that after the first period. They let Toronto have way too much room, and 4-on-4s, penalties, all this. You can say what you want, but that's what it comes down to, is that Toronto is a little more hungry. They're a little more desperate. So guess what? Game 6, it's time for the Lightning to be more desperate. They've got to be more physical, and I think they're going to do it. I'm not saying that it's game done in Game 6. It's going to now be a 7-game series, and it is going to come down to who's the most desperate team that last 10 minutes or so of this series. So I think that's what it's going to come down to, because it's not going to be another blowout. I think we're going to see another 4-5, 3-2, something like that. It's going to be another close game in Game 6. Game 7 is going to be the same way. I don't think we're going to see the blowouts that we saw early on in the series again. It's going to be back and forth. It's punch, counter punch. And it's going to be who's able to land that last knockout blow in the last, 5-10 minutes of Game 7. So I think the Lightning have what it takes. I think Lightning should win this. And Toronto's going to have all the pressure. It's just a matter, do the Bolts have enough in the tank to be able to execute?
Yeah. And I don't know. It goes back to what Coop said all last offseason. Are you full yet? And I don't know. Is it a combination of, I don't think it's that. You're never going to be full of lifting that cup, right? But, I mean, what do they have left in the tank?
Well, now more than
commenting about
ever is like that Smack Apparel shirt, the findaways. It's time to find a way, and you've got to find a way for these next 2 games.
And that dial's got to be at 11 the entire time.
Yep.
That's the other thing. You can't let that dial hover at a 6 or a 7 and then turn it up to a 9 or 10 and then let it go back down. Like, it's got to be all the way up for the rest of it. They can do this. They can. I mean, they could dominate. They could easily go out there and beat Toronto 5-0, 5-6-2, whatever. They could do that. They have the ability to do that. But you've got to play on 60 minutes. That's
all right. You got to leave everything on the ice.
Well, you got to figure out ways out of the box too, regardless of what the refs are doing. You can't be self-inflicted. That's the thing, because refs aren't going to call us penalties. You can't have the too many man penalties. That's gonna. I mean, you can't add to it. You can't give them freebies, right? That's the other thing. No
that
freebies.
Being almost half the penalties you had, that hurts. I got a good question for you guys, and I'll let you think about it for a second. If you are in charge, your coach, Coop, what changes are you making? Any changes to the lineup? What are you doing to make sure that these guys come out and win? And before, I'll let you think about that before you answer, and we'll go to Jeff first, our resident troll here, Donnie Pepin. By the way, Bucks fan and Maple Leafs fan.
Our one Leafs fan.
But I have to give you this.
Keep my team's name out your fucking mouth.
And remind you that it's not over yet.
That's right.
But you are welcome to come on if we do lose this series. All right. Jeff, put your coaching hat on. Do you leave things the same? Do you let it roll? Like what do you do?
I mean, I would just let it roll. I mean, you got your people that you trust, you got your lineups that you like, you got your things that you like, and I just let it roll. I mean, at this point, the Lightning got their backs, the team has their backs against the wall, and you just like if I was in that locker room and a coach came to me and and he said anything, it would just be like, how much do you want it? And this is your chance to prove it. And we got the matchups, we got the people that we like, we got everything set up the way that we like it. Let's just roll. Let's see, kind of see where the resilience is, see where the fight is, and see where the guys are at. Because I think at this point, there's really, I don't know enough about the matchups, or I don't know enough about the, maybe there's one player you can bring in, one player that you take out that would make a huge difference. Like, I don't know enough about that. But if I was a coach, I would just, at this point, you just got to let it roll and see, what they got in the tank. Just tell them to empty it.
I mean,
because this is it.
They got a pretty good track record, right? Like, if you're hitting on black at the roulette table every time, you let that puppy ride, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know enough about if there's one player that can make a big difference or something like that. At this stage in the game, I don't really think there is.
Yeah, I mean, there's one guy who has not been featured in the series, and that's our guy. We call him Rutu around here because that's what NBC Sports called him. I don't know, why. I know he was battling some injuries, but he was a healthy scratch, they said tonight. I don't know, Schoolie. Do you make that move? Do you put in Jan Ruda?
No, because then you're going to sit Bogosian, and I think Bogosian has been one of the highlights of the last two games.
He had a great play tonight.
And Foot. Yeah. Foot's still been playing great hockey too.
For me, it would be, if you're going to make any changes, make that perfection line like all these other teams have right now. Get Stammer, Point, and Kucherov on a line together. You got the Nylander, Marner, and Matthews line. You got the line in Boston. You get that line together. If you're going to put balls to the wall and lay it all out, let your stars do the work. Let your veterans do it. You got the captain saying we're only playing 15 games, then get your fucking ass out there and play the rest of the whole game, and let's score some goals.
Coach Stash. That just sounds weird to say. Hold on.
Is it a mustache? Who knows?
It probably is. It probably is. I don't know what you have to change. You just gotta let the guys go play their game. That's my problem right now. That's why I have a problem with anyone that's saying, "Oh, fire Coop," or this or that. Blame Coop too much. Okay.
People are saying fire Coop.
No, I'm just saying over the years when they have. Is what I'm saying. Over the years when people. No, when people.
I did not say fire Coop. I'm just pissed off at him tonight.
No. I'm saying when people have. I've never I think people blame coaching too much in the sport. But that being said, he definitely has tinkered. He has not trusted his matchups or his lines to just go out there and roll them like he has in previous seasons. And I think if there's one thing that he needs to do, it's he just needs to set his lines and forget them, right? Easy bake oven this shit, dude. Set it and forget it and let them roll. And sure, try and maybe get them out there, but he starts short shifting guys. He's like, this guy go. It's just a matter of just kind of go with what my dad used to say. You gotta dance with the one what brung you. Does that make sense? You gotta get back to that thing of maybe you're saying to go and make the professional line. Well, what about the Pally, Cooch, and Point line? What's that line needs to go. Let's get Stamkos back on the line with Killer and Point that they had most of their success with this season. I mean, that's where they were the most successful this season when that was their top two lines. So if that's what it comes down to, but whatever it is, we start the game with, finish the game with that. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
We need consistency and let the guys know, because that's where these kind of too many men penalties come from. And that's when, who you're trying to get your matchup out, that's when you get breakaways or odd man rushes because now you're late changing or any of these things. They need consistency right now. And I think their consistency is what gives them their process. And if they do their process, then that's how they win games. So for me, it's just a matter of keep it simple, and try to go back to that mentality and those lineups and that got you to where you've been.
Yeah. It's gotta be Stamkos. It's gotta be Cooch. It's gotta be Hedman. As good as it seems,
Point playoff killer.
I mean,
where's
killer,
playoff Point?
Yeah.
Where's Point been?
Here, listen to this stat.
Point looks a little banged up, doesn't he?
I mean, he's looked fast the last 2 games, but I think there is something wrong with him. But listen to this stat. I don't like the plus minus stat that much because you're just one guy on the ice. Point this series is a net -6.
That's crazy.
He's got 1 goal, 1 assist.
Yeah.
We need him to be better than that. So I don't know, Jeff. He might be injured. He probably is. He got held out some of the games at the end of the season. Cooch, 1 goal's not enough. And it's tough to say that. He has 6 assists. He's got 7 points. He's tied for the lead on the team. But you got to score that goal in the 5-on-3. You got to come through with that goal. And that's the difference between this year and the last couple of years is so far they haven't done it. So I'm looking for the big boys to show up. Like, we had the school bus line show up last game, which was nice. But it needs to be the big boys that are going to win this series for us. They've been kind of shut down.
Yeah, right. Sorelli, Killer, Palat. Those are the guys that we've seen come through in clutch situations in the last couple seasons that we're not seeing this season. So I think that's what's really important in these next 2 games is not necessarily the big guys, but the big guys for us traditionally in the playoffs, right? Because those are the guys that we're kind of missing. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
Point's been one of the biggest, if not the biggest, playoff player that we've had.
Right.
So, if you're not getting production out of Point, then it's tough to pick up that slack, and that's what makes me think something's wrong with him because we've all seen him playing when he's healthy and when he's buzzing around. So that's why I kind of think something's wrong with him. But you need him to score goals. Like they're not going to win the playoffs if he's not scoring goals.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of the players get their name. Make their name is in the playoffs, is in the postseason. And now you have 2 games to eliminate Toronto that it's must wins. And now's the time to make your name. Ross Colton, Sorelli, make your name and win these 2 games. We know they haven't lost back-to-back games in the playoffs. We have said this now every other game this series. So you got to expect they're going to come out and put an ass whooping. There better not be any too many men on the ice because Cooper on this next game because Cooper gets the last change. So if there's an issue there, then you can't blame it. That would be on Cooper. So let's go out and blow this game. Go to Toronto. Toronto's going to be loud come Saturday night. They're going to be rocking their barn. It's going to be the loudest you've ever heard because I remember what Game 7 at Amalie was like. Now you got a team that hasn't done anything since the 60s. So you're going to have to play through that crowd. You're going to have that extra man in the stands come out. But they're also in the back of their mind going to know, here we go again. It's Montreal all over again. So let's go and win these next 2 and wait for the Panthers versus Washington series to end.
Yeah.
Confidence, boys. Confidence.
Yeah, there's not much to say. I'm confident we're going to win Game 6 and it's going to go to Game 7. I'm confident they're going to have to go to Toronto and win a tough matchup in a very loud barn. I'm confident they have the skills to do all of it.
We're all spoiled, though. We're
right?
all so spoiled.
We've said that a couple of shows that we're just a small.
We've talked about that a lot lately. Yeah.
Because Jeff, we talked about in Montreal's exit interviews this year, they said how they were all tired because they had a very short offseason. They went through all the playoffs up to the Stanley Cup Finals. Now, nobody has played more hockey than Tampa, except for Corey Perry, who's on our team. He's played the same amount as we have had. So, if Montreal's legs were tired because of their short offseason, think of what Tampa's legs are. And we're an older team. We're an aged team. Bogosian, Killorn, Stamkos, Hedman. In hockey years, they're getting up there. Maroon.
And we're still in the playoffs. And we're talking about
Game 7.
So, We're all spoiled, boys. Come on, have
Yeah.
some confidence.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with how things have gone the last couple
It's
years.
great to be a Lightning fan.
Oh,
I know,
listen,
but we
I would much rather
expect
be-
so much.
I'd much rather be sitting here coming off of back-to-back cups thinking, oh man, we might lose a first round to Toronto, rather than being Toronto having zero success
Exactly.
after all these seasons and being like, oh, this is going to be our Stanley Cup if we beat the Lightning, because now they're going to have nothing for the second round. So, you know, I know where I'm at. I like to count, you know, my
Listen,
blessings. I'm quite happy
we could
with
be
being a
we
Lightning
could be
fan.
we could be a Montreal fan who last year was in the finals and now tonight get the #1 pick in the NHL draft because they suck and they're sitting at home.
We could be the Islanders who just fired Barry Trotz for no conceivable reason whatsoever. We
Except
could be
for
that
losing
team.
idiot.
But, I mean,
But we're not. But
you know,
we're not.
but we're not.
We're winners
the
here in
fucking
Tampa Bay,
back-to-back
boys.
champs,
We're
baby.
not. We're not.
We're the back-to-back champs. That's right.
All right. I mean, I'm done. You guys got anything else you want to talk about? Like, that's a wrap.
They've almost took the stage down here now.
Yeah, you're gonna get
Check
kicked
out
out of
that
there
video.
soon. All right. Well, we got some stuff to give away. Let's do that Smack shirt. Let's do it.
What?
So last chance #Smack. And you've got the Smack Master with us tonight. That's the shirt. That's the shirt right there.
Boys, there it is.
You got any good new shirts coming out that give us a little sneak peek, a little something?
Well, you know, we're ready. We're ready just in case for other Tampa sports. We got the Super Bowl shirts. It's Super Bowls time. Like that
Nice.
play on words, you know, nice little thing there. Boat Parade or bust for the Rays. Those are the things we got going on in Tampa.
Bust.
But-
Nice.
Bust.
Boat Parade,
Bust.
bust. 'Cause that's
If you want-
that's the whole scene, right? In Tampa
If you want
now.
to keep it positive, you might want to keep the Rays out of your mouth on the show. I'll tell you that right. Just
You don't
to-
like the Rays? You don't like the
But we
Rays?
love the Rays. We love
the Rays, but the Rays
The
don't
Rays are the
love.
best. You don't like the
Right.
Rays? The Rays are the best.
The
We don't
Rays
like
don't like
you.
boat parades.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
this
I mean,
year.
That's all that they have left to conquer, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But
I
that's-
mean, listen, if it's not this year, then
That's another show.
There you go. Mike's got his Smack shirt on right now, and
Love
he
it. Good
just
stuff,
entered
Mike.
the drawing. All right, let's do it. We got a bunch of people here. We also got some other stuff to give away. I'm going to let the boys pick from the chat here, guys. So line up some chats. Remember, Pucks and Pizzas here in Palm Harbor. There you go, Greg Gentry,
Nice.
the winner. So we'll hit you up, Greg, or hit us up if you can DM us. And I'll let you guys pick. We've got a bunch of starred comments here, actually a lot more than we normally do. So thank you guys for keeping it positive with the comments here. I'll let you guys pick. Just keep in mind, if you know any of these folks that live out of town, they probably won't enjoy the pizza that they'll never get until they come to Tampa.
Let me.
all right,
give
boys.
the-
I'm gonna sign off real quick. Is that all right?
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
jumping
guys.
on.
Appreciate it,
You are
man.
welcome to come on anytime. But Thomas is going to blame you if they lose and you come on again. So just don't forget that.
Stay away from the watch parties in the arena.
I'm not. Listen, I'm out of town this weekend anyway, so I'll be far away. From
I'm gonna say either go or don't go.
Right.
Stick to
all
it.
right, boys. This was. Hey, you know what? I had a good time, even though it was kind of depressing.
Hey, man.
Yeah, a little bit.
We really
We're going to go
appreciate
cry
all the
ourselves
You're
to
not-
sleep.
giving us,
You're
man.
not headed to the Skyway right now, are you?
Go to bed. All right.
But listen,
All
we
right, man.
appreciate all your support, man, and
Yeah.
we love giving away all our stuff. So
Thank you so much.
thanks, man.
Later, guys.
Take care. All right. Yeah, that was cool to finally have Jeff on. We've been talking about him jumping on since really the middle of last playoffs. So it's good to have him come on. And seriously, they show so much support for the show with giving out I can't even count how many shirts we've given out on this show from them. So if you don't win, go there and buy one of those awesome shirts either way.
Someone can buy me this truck if they want.
That's a sweet truck.
I mean,
All right. You got any other comments here? Pizza and Malektronics.
Here's my Malektronics one.
Jesse. purposely lost this game so we can win it all in Toronto and make Leafs fans cry even harder. Appropriate. I like it.
Well, I was going to give him the pizza because I know he's local and he could get over there and get it. Now I'm like, hey, we'll give it to Christopher. I'm just kidding.
Get yourself a pizza off your own pizza truck. Hucks and Pizza, Palm Harbor, baby. Go try it out.
Listen, we didn't start this one, but this is exactly how I feel about Matthews. And I think Chuck can get over there and get his pizza.
Good luck, Chuck.
But I totally agree. I think he looks like a South Park character with a Charlie John mustache on and a flappy little Canadian head, even though he's from America. Strangely enough, he's from Arizona. He looks like a flappy Canadian. So I'm going to give it to Chuck.
Well, you missed the post that I did during the game about Austin Matthews being definitely the child of Ron Jeremy.
Serena put that today in the chat. That's why I was just trying to go back and look at. By the way,
we were tweeting that out earlier.
The Bolts return tomorrow at 1:24 p.m. at Shelter. If anybody wants to welcome them home, I will not be there. I'll be at work.
Don't be so negative, Thomas.
I have to. I have to work tomorrow.
They're fucking not gonna see you there, and they're gonna be like, "What the fuck? He gave up on us."
There's no Scully here.
He's here even at 4:00 in the morning. And what?
Hey, man, listen. As tough as it is to be in this position, we haven't really been there with this team. So there's no counting them out. One thing, we're going to be here on Thursday night after the game. I know I can't go to the game. Are you guys going to go?
I will be at the game.
I'm still not 100% sure yet.
Okay, so either way, we're going to broadcast after the game. Hopefully, we'll be talking about a Game 7. If not, we'll be we'll have a show like we've never had before.
We'll plan the candlelight visual at the Skyway. For all the bandwagon.
No, they put a netting there now. We got to pick a different bridge.
All right. Well,
hey, I still have faith. I do. I mean, I know just like I'll be positive. I'm positive. I do believe this team has got what it takes to beat Toronto. I really do. I think they can win 2 in a row. It's just they have to believe that they can do it, and they have to go out and execute. That's what all it comes down to. When both teams are executing at their best, the Lightning have been better. I
saw a couple of comments on here about Bassey tonight. I thought that fucker stood on his head in the first 2 periods.
Yep.
That goal that went through him on that in second period, he had no chance in hell at that puck. He was standing. I mean, it could have been a blowout like we did to them the other night on some of those shots. I mean, they were peppering him left and right.
So many shots in that second period.
Yeah.
And even those third period goals, Riley, he's wide open. And then the one where they first took the lead with Nylander was just a really good shot. I mean, you're not going to stop them all. And then 2-on-1. You can't give away that 2-on-1 to the only 2 guys on their team. You can't give a 2-on-1 away to. So, hey, man, we love the Big Cat. We love the whole team. Sometimes they don't win. But, hey, winning 2 games in a row against Toronto, very doable. Very doable.
Very doable.
All right. Anything else, guys? Thomas is getting kicked out.
Yes. They said we're closed. You got to go.
Gotta go.
All right. Well, I'm close too. I'm freaking tired. It's been a long weekend.
We're shutting this thing down. Hey, we'll see y'all on Thursday night after the game. Until then, this has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the Thunder.
That's it?